Hello and a very warm welcome to today's session brought to you by Team Testbook for Coaching. I hope all of you are doing really well. देरी नहीं करते हुए फटाफट से आज के सेशन को स्टार्ट करते हैं. आज हम लोग सैटरडे को जो हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट किया है आपके प्रीवियस ईयर्स क्वेश्चंस को कवर करना. सैटरडे को हम लोगों ने इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस को देखा था. संडे को मैराथन के सेशन के फॉर्म में हम लोगों ने क्वेश्चंस को कवर किया है. कल भी हम लोगों ने जैसे कल आपका मैराथन था एंड आज मास्टर क्लास में भी लुक्ड एट क्वेश्चंस. उसी ट्रेंड को कंटिन्यू करते हुए हम डिटेल्ड एनालिसिस कर रहे हैं. एंड रिमेंबर आपके पीवाईक्यूज इंपॉर्टेंट क्यों है? बिकॉज एवरी पीवाईक्यू इज एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर यू टू एक्चुअली रिव्यू एटलीस्ट 4 इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स. आप कम से कम 4 इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स को रिव्यू कर सकते हैं, रिवाइज कर सकते हैं. And taking a look at your upcoming set exams, obviously this becomes really important. Good evening, Wilfran, Devashri, Suraj, Simar. Good evening, everyone. चलिए देरी नहीं करते हुए फटाफट से let's just quickly get started with today's सेशन. हम लोग आज जो PYQs कवर करेंगे बहुत ही ब्रीफली हम कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट इंटरेस्टिंग PYQs को देखेंगे. जैसे कि मैंने आपको कहा है आपकी जो मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टिप है प्लीज इंश्योर कीजिएगा कि आप रनिंग नोट्स डेफिनेटली बना रहे हैं. यू शुड बी एबल टू मेक रनिंग नोट्स जब आप PYQs को सॉल्व कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर. बट उसके बाद एक तरह से एनालाइज भी कीजिएगा. Try to revisit, try to look at all the concepts that we are looking at as well. Okay. चलिए क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 देखते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 1, identify the one that has not been paired correctly. Identify the one that has not been paired correctly. Identify the one that is not good. Good evening, Jahan. That has not been paired correctly. तो आपको incorrect pair figure out करना है. You basically have to figure out the incorrect pair. Which is the incorrect pair that you are able to see? Good evening, Rani. Right, right, absolutely right. Okay, good, good. Uh-huh. ध्यान से देखिएगा. Try to, figure it out. Try to figure it out that what is the incorrect pair that you're able to see. Okay, so कौन सा सही तरीके से आपका पेयर नहीं हुआ है? Now see, whenever such kind of questions are basically coming, you will have to remember a couple of things. Of course, आपका Madness in Civilization जो work आ रहा है, you are able to see that Madness in Civilization is by Foucault, right? Madness in Civilization ये जो work पूरा का पूरा आ रहा है, that is the work that is coming from the pen of Foucault altogether. So of course, this is another important thing that you're actually able to look at. तो ऑफ कोर्स इस तरह के क्वेश्चंस में प्रॉपर्ली डिटेल्ड वे में इसको डिफाइन कीजिएगा. राइट, सो यू पीपल आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट ओवर हियर दैट दिस इज नॉट अ वर्क दैट यू आर एबल टू सी जो कि करेक्टली पेयर्ड है. राइट, दैट इज अ वर्क व्हिच इज नॉट एक्चुअली करेक्टली पेयर्ड ऑल टुगेदर. सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू विल हैव टू कीप इन माइंड ओवर हियर. Foucault's writing Madness and Civilization, right? Foucault is the one who's actually trying to talk about madness and civilization. Moving on to the second question. Which of the following articles of Indian Constitution made the provisions for the use of English alongside Hindi for official purposes for 15 years? Official purposes for 15 years. कौन से, कहाँ से आपके प्रोविजंस बन के आए हैं? कहाँ से आपके प्रोविजंस बन के आए हैं? ध्यान से देखिएगा. Devashri has got it right. Devashri is absolutely right. Article 343, right? Article 343. Devashri का बिल्कुल सही जवाब आया है. Article 343 states that the official language of the union shall be Hindi in Devanagari script altogether. लेकिन हम लोग यहाँ पर क्या देख पाते हैं कि English भी, right? English language was used for official communication in the union altogether. So that is coming in Article 343. Article 343. That is what you're able to see. What is meant by corporate author in research? Research के अंदर corporate author ये जो term है इससे हमारा क्या तात्पर्य होता है? What do we mean by a corporate author? Corporate author से what are we trying to imply? What are we trying to basically mean when we are talking about a corporate author? Very good. Isha, Wilfran, Devashri, everyone's right. A work that is produced by an institution, an association, or government agency, that's called a corporate author altogether. Corporate affairs, corporate company nahi, balki third is absolutely the correct answer. So corporate authors can be company, society, government department, like your NHS, your so-called table tennis society, etc., etc. So those are your corporate authors that we are talking about. Okay, which of the following theorists identifies metonymy metaphor as two fundamental structures of language? Metonymy or metaphor ko as two important structural structures, two important frameworks that you're able to see in language. Who's trying to do that? Devashish, good evening. Good evening, Pooja. यहाँ पर ये आपका काफी फेमस वर्क है 1956 का essay है that you're able to see. Excellent. Ishita has got the right answer. Ishita has got it right. Kasturi has got it right. बिल्कुल सही. Two aspects of language and two types of acoustic disturbances जो आपका आ रहा है. This is by Roman Jakobson. Jakobson is actually trying to talk about this, right? Roman Jakobson is the person who's actually looking at this particular work. तो ये चीज आपको थोड़ा सा ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. Roman Jakobson becomes the correct answer. The 1956 essay, the two aspects of language and the two types of acoustic disturbances जो आपका आ रहा है, ये Jacobson ने लिखा है. There are two types of aphasia, right? So that is what you're actually able to see over here overall. So please remember that. Please keep that in mind altogether. तो ये आपका metonymy and metaphor, right? Metonymy and metaphor. Metonymy and metaphor ये दोनों चीजें आपकी आ रही हैं. So please remember that. Which of the following is not true? Which of the following is not true about lyrical ballets? Which of the following is not true about lyrical ballets? Which of the following is not true about lyrical ballets? यहाँ पे क्या सही जवाब हो जाता है? What becomes the right answer? Which of the following is not true about lyrical ballets? Right, right. So not true hai, it is a manifesto, so that is the truth. It turns English poetry away from social and intellectual sophistication, that is also true. It takes poetry out of the confines of regions and intellect and unravished, unspoiled beauty of nature, that is also true. These are the features जो आपके cover up होते हैं. It is very particular about the form and structure, not at all. Spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions recollected in tranquility. So this is not true. This is not true. बाकी के three जो हैं वो लिरिकल बैलेंस के लिए पूरी तरह से करेक्ट है. सो व्हाट आर यू एबल टू सी? पोएटिक डिक्शन, पर्सोना ऑफ द पोएट, लैंग्वेज दैट इज फिट फॉर यूज ऑफ पोएट्री, ये सारी चीजें आपको बताई जाती हैं लिरिकल बैलेंस के अंदर. दैट यू हैव टू रिमेंबर हाउ इट इज कॉल्ड द ऑफिशियल मैनिफेस्टो ऑफ द रोमांटिक एज ऑल टुगेदर. J. Hillis Miller, one of the leading exponents of deconstruction, makes deconstructive reading of which of the following poems by P.B. Shelley? पीबी शेली के कौन से पोएम्स का डीकंस्ट्रक्टिव रीडिंग आपको जे हिलिस मिलर से मिलता है? गुड इवनिंग सिनाली, गुड इवनिंग. जे हिलिस मिलर से डीकंस्ट्रक्टिव रीडिंग आपको कौन से वर्क्स का मिलता है? जे हिलिस मिलर. द क्रिटिक एज अ होस्ट के अंदर यू आर एबल टू सी शेली का द ट्रायम्फ ऑफ लाइफ. ओके, द ट्रायम्फ ऑफ लाइफ, शेली का द ट्रायम्फ ऑफ लाइफ वहां से आपको मिल रहा है. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर. सो जे हिलिस मिलर द क्रिटिक एज अ होस्ट, दिस इज ऑफ कोर्स इंपॉर्टेंट ऑल टुगेदर. इनकी बुक डीकंस्ट्रक्शन एंड क्रिटिसिज्म के अंदर भी ये मेंशन्ड है. इट इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी अ रिप्लाई टू एम.एच. एब्राहम्स द डीकंस्ट्रक्टिव एंजल दैट यू आर एबल टू सी. सो प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट ऑल टुगेदर. यहाँ पर शेली का द ट्रायम्फ ऑफ लाइफ, दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच हैज बीन talked about over here. So please remember. Good evening, Jyoti. The Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. ये क्या कर रहा है? Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. What is it doing? The Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. What is it doing? The Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. The Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith critiques rural institutions. Not at all. Voices revolt of the individual man against institutions. What is it doing basically? Wilfran has got it right. Reflects upon different views of human soul. Not at all. Enclosures जो आपके act आ रहे थे, what were enclosures? Enclosures were you trying to beautify the manicured gardens altogether. So that is what enclosures was actually doing altogether, right? So Deserted Village by Oliver Goldsmith. That is what you're able to see. It's a social commentary. It's condemning rural depopulation altogether. ये चीज आप अच्छी तरीके से देख पाते हो, right? So that is what is coming in. And please remember George Crabbe's The Village, right, was also another important commentary that you were able to see. Lord Alfred Tennyson, the following lines: Yet I doubt not through the ages, one increasing purpose runs, and thoughts of men are widened with the process of the suns, right? So, what is this basically trying to talk about? What is this basically trying to talk about? What is this basically trying to discuss? Jaldi se bataiye. Yes, Shabnam, it's talking about rural, the massive process of rural, the process of urbanization in the rural centers that you're able to see. Okay, Devashi has got it right. Devashi has got it right. It is reflecting upon the evolutionary faith altogether. So Loxley Hall, जो कि आपके trochaic meter में लिखी गई है, what are you able to see? It's a dramatic monologue, which is literally trying to talk about a lot of these illusionary aspects as well. That is what you're able to see. Philip Sidney's Arcadia was influenced by. Philip Sidney's Arcadia was influenced by. Philip Sidney's Arcadia was influenced by. What was Philip Sidney's Arcadia influenced by? What was the Philip Sidney's Arcadia influenced by? Philip Sidney's Arcadia was getting influenced by what? Philip Sidney's Arcadia was getting influenced by what? What was it getting influenced by? What was the Philip Sidney's Arcadia getting influenced by? What was it getting influenced by? Right, the Spanish Romance of Montmayor, the Spanish Romance of Montmayor, the Spanish Romance of Montmayor. That is what Arcadia was actually getting influenced by. So the source that we are able to see of Arcadia is Dinah of Montmayor, and the two continuations that we are able to see all together. ये चीज आपको थोड़ा सा ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. So please be a little careful about that. Okay. Who among the following has authored the Revenger's Tragedy? Who has authored the Revenger's Tragedy? Who has authored the Revenger's Tragedy altogether? Revenger's Tragedy has been authored by. Revenger's Tragedy has been authored by. Revenger's Tragedy has been authored by. Right. A is absolutely the correct answer. Cyril Turner. Cyril Turner is absolutely the correct answer. So, Revenger's Tragedy is a revenge tragedy that we are able to see over here. Cyril Turner. This is what we are able to look at. So, वैसे भी Jacobean tragedy के even if you've made like basic notes all together, you will be able to understand that which was the writer, कहाँ से आ रहे हैं, किस category से आ रहे हैं. Besides being a playwright, who among the following has translated Homer? Who's the person who's actually even translated Homer? So Pope Homer को translate कर रहे हैं, but here whom are we talking about? Because remember that even Keats is actually talking about, right? On looking at this particular person's Homer, translation of Homer. What is the correct answer over here? Right, absolutely correct. George Chapman is the correct answer. George Chapman is the correct answer. ठीक है, George Chapman आपका बिल्कुल सही जवाब हो जाता है. So George Chapman जो है, he's the one who's actually come across with the translation of the Homeric odes altogether. Who among the following has written this article, Fleshly School of Poetry attacking pre-Raphaelite brotherhood, especially D.G. Rossetti? Especially D.G. Rossetti. What is the correct answer over here? Especially D.G. Rossetti. Especially D.G. Rossetti. What is the correct answer over here? Correct, correct. Robert Buchanan is absolutely the correct answer. Robert Buchanan, the Fleshly School of Poetry जो आपका आ रहा है, the Contemporary Review के अंदर, Robert Buchanan के अंदर, right, under the pseudonym of Thomas Maitland that you are able to look at, right. So also called the Stelkey School of Criticism, right. That is what you're actually able to see. So please remember that. Which among the following is an incomplete poem by P.B. Shelley? Is an incomplete poem by P.B. Shelley? Is an incomplete poem by P.B. Shelley? Completely depends upon you, Shabna, कि किस तरह से you want to actually keep it. If you want to keep a printed copy, that's completely up to you. Right, Ishita has got the right answer. The Triumph of Life. The Triumph of Life. देखो एक ही पेपर में दो बार Triumph of Life का क्वेश्चन आ गया है. Deconstructive reading by J. Hillis Miller, and again the non-completed version that you're able to see. So left unfinished because Shelley wrote the poem at Casa Magni, and that is where you're able to see. So Terza Raima के अंदर it is modeled. So here you are able to see Triumph of Life as the correct answer. So please remember that. Who among the following attached himself to the Earl of Nottingham's theatrical company? Earl of Nottingham's theatrical company. What is the correct answer over here? Who among the following has attached? Who among the following has attached? Who among the following has attached? What is the correct answer over here that you're able to see? Who among the following has attached? It is Christopher Marlowe. Okay, it is Christopher Marlowe that you are able to see. So Christopher Marlowe is the person who is actually associated. So ये point आप please एक बार ध्यान में रखिएगा. Christopher Marlowe is the person who is actually associated over here. Okay, so Marlowe is the person who is associated. When was Murakami Men Without Women published? Men Without Women कब publish हुआ था? Men Without Women कब publish हुआ था? Men Without Woman, Men Without Women. When is it getting published? When is Murakami's Men Without Women getting published? When is it that you're able to see Murakami's Men Without Women is getting published? Short story collection है, Japanese writer है Murakami that we're talking about. When is it getting published altogether? This is coming in 2014. This is coming in 2014. ठीक है, ये कब आ रही है? 2014 का है, by Murakami. Again, very important that you're able to see a story about men who have lost women in their lives, right? Because of other men or deaths that you're able to see. Okay, so please keep that in mind as well. Who is the author of the essay Three Women's Texts and a Critique of Imperialism? Three Women's Texts and a Critique of Imperialism. Who's the author of this essay? Three Women Texts and a Critique of Imperialism. Three Women Texts and a Critique of Imperialism. ये किसने लिखा है? Three Women Texts and a Critique of Imperialism. Who's the writer who's writing this particular work? Who's the writer? Ishita is on fire today. Ishita Karangana. Everyone's got it right. It's Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak. That is absolutely the correct answer. Three Women Texts and Critique of Imperialism. ये Gayatri Chakravarti Spivak का है. This is the work that is coming from the pen of Spivak. Spivak is the one who's writing it, so that you can actually clearly see this over here. But good job done. All of you have got it right over here altogether. That is really nice. Who among the following critics appropriates the statement by Karl Marx, they cannot represent themselves, they must be represented. They cannot represent themselves, they must be represented. They cannot represent themselves, they must be represented. तो कहाँ पर ये आपके lines आ रही हैं? Where are these lines actually coming in from? Surprisingly, yes, Ravi, absolutely right. So surprisingly, Chandra Talpade Mohanty that we are talking about, right? So ये आपका, Mohanty is actually trying to talk about you. You will have to speak about them. They cannot be represented otherwise. You will have to speak about them, right? You cannot really represent them. You will have to speak about them. Under the Net is written by. Under the Net is written by. Who's the writer who's written Under the Net? Under the Net is written by. Who's the writer who's writing Under the Net? Under the Net, the novel is written by whom? Under the Net is a novel written by whom? Who's the writer writing Under the Net? It's Iris Murdoch. It's Irish Murdoch. Right? Irish Murdoch is the one who's writing Under the Net. Irish Murdoch is the person who's writing Under the Net. Right? Under the Net. Set in London. It's telling about the struggling young writer, Jake, who's there, right? Dedicated to Raymond. And that is what you're actually able to see. Who among the following is not a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature? Is not a recipient. Is not a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature. Is not a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature. What is the correct answer over here? Is not a recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature. So here you will have to remember, how you are able to see that so please remember T.S. Eliot won the Nobel Prize, that you're able to see. Winston Churchill has won the Nobel Prize. Madame Curie has got it. W.H. Auden was recommended, right? W.H. Auden was recommended but was not awarded. W.H. Auden was not, awarded altogether. That is what you're actually able to see. So please keep this in mind as well, that how, W.H. Auden was actually not really awarded, right? Auden was somebody who wasn't really awarded over here. That is another important thing that you're able to look at. Find out the correct sequence. Find out the correct sequence of the publication of the following books. जो correct sequence है that you are able to see for publication of the following books. Publication of the following books. What is the correct sequence altogether that you are able to see? What is the correct sequence that you are able to look at? You have to figure out the correct sequence. You have to figure out the correct sequence altogether. You have to figure out the correct sequence altogether. What is the correct sequence that you're able to look at? Okay, good try, good try. Good try. What is the correct answer over here? I can see three. So yes, let's just take a look at it. So ये सारी के सारी works, V.S. Naipaul, A House for Mr. Biswas, An Area of Darkness, India Wounded Civilization, India Million Mutinies, right? Naipaul's Indian Trilogy, in An Area of Darkness, India Wounded Civilization, India Million Mutinies. तो ये आपको याद रखना है. इंडियन ट्रिलॉजी के अंदर ये जो तीनों पार्ट्स आ रहे हैं, इनका क्या ऑर्डर है? The ancient and modern quarrel appears during which particular age? Ancient versus modern जो quarrel आपकी आ रही है, which age are you actually able to see? Which age are you actually able to see this? Ancient versus जो आपकी modern की debate है, ये आप कौन से time में देख पा रहे हो? Ancient versus moderns, where is it that you are able to actually see this? Ancient versus moderns की जो पूरी की पूरी debate है, when is it that you are actually able to look at it? When is it that you are actually able to look at it? Okay. यस यस. सो एंशियंट एंड मॉडर्न्स की जो डिबेट है, ये फ्रांस एंड इंग्लैंड में 17th सेंचुरी में आ रही है, राइट? रिमेंबर विलियम टेम्पल इज आल्सो एसोसिएटेड विद दिस एंटायर डिबेट. ड्राइडन आल्सो टॉक्स अबाउट दिस एंटायर डिबेट. सो 17th सेंचुरी के अंदर, 17th सेंचुरी के अंदर यू आर एबल टू सी दैट दिस डिबेट इज एक्चुअली rising. So 16th 17th century is when we are actually able to see that this entire debate is taking full proper form altogether. Okay, so ये चीज आपको थोड़ा सा ध्यान में रखना पड़ेगा. You'll have to keep that in mind. In which year Miles Coverdale translated the Old Testament of the Bible? Miles Coverdale translated the Old Testament of the Bible. Miles Coverdale translated the Old Testament of the Bible. Where are we able to see Miles Coverdale translated the Old Testament of the Bible? What is the correct answer over here? Miles Coverdale translated the Old Testament of the Bible. Right, right, absolutely right. 1535 is the correct answer. 1535. So Coverdale Bible, Miles Coverdale compile कर रहे हैं. 1535 में आ रहा है altogether. तो ये चीज आपको याद रखनी है. Please keep that in mind overall, right? Who's the author of the poem House of Fame? Who's the author of the poem House of Fame? Who's the author of the poem House of Fame? Who's the author of the poem House of Fame? Who's the author of the poem House of Fame? What is the correct answer over here? This is very simple. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए. Immediately आपको आंसर कर लेना चाहिए. House of Fame. Yes, Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer is the correct answer. House of Fame by Geoffrey Chaucer. That is what you're able to see. Upon falling asleep, the glass temple adorned with eagle is coming as a guide altogether. Who comes as a guide? This is also asked. The heroic couplet is a pair of. The heroic couplet is a pair of. What is the heroic couplet a pair of? The heroic couplet is a pair of what? The heroic couplet is a pair of what? Yes, Pooja Maurya has got it right. That is right. So the heroic couplet is a pair of 10 syllable lines that rhyme. The 10 syllable lines that rhyme, right? That is what you're actually able to see. The 10 syllable lines that are rhyming. That is what is happening in heroic couplet, right? That is what is happening in heroic couplet. That is another important thing that you're able to notice and observe. Okay. So please remember that आपका Alexandrine जो आपका आ रहा है 12 syllable, octosyllable, octosyllabic verse all together. तो ये please इसको ध्यान में रखिएगा. The book Women Beware Women was published in the year. Women Beware Women was published in the year. Women Beware Women was published in which year? Women Beware Women was published in which year? Which year are we able to see? It entered the Stationers Register on the 9th of September 1950, 1653. Right? So that date is of course the Stationers Register, but otherwise कब आ रहा है? 1657 में properly publish होता है, but 1612 to 1627 is when it is understood. So 1612 is where you are able to see that it's coming. Okay, now moving on very quickly to your homework question for today. Okay, this is a very simple question. This is your homework question. I want you all to attempt this particular question also. आज हम लोगों ने काफी simple और basic previous years questions को cover किया है. We will be taking a tour of more questions in the coming days altogether. This is your homework question. Which of the following is not a part of Amitabh Ghosh's The Ibis trilogy? ओके, प्लीज रिवाइज ये सारी की सारी चीजों को अच्छी तरीके से रिवाइज कर लीजिएगा. अगर कोई भी डाउट हो तो डू लेट मी नो अबाउट इट. मास्टर क्लास की टाइमिंग्स आई होप यू आर वेल अवेयर. Master class timings are 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Monday to Friday. We are meeting at 9 a.m. for your master classes. And YT का जो आपका session है, that is at 10 p.m. That is Monday to Thursday. Monday to Thursday, we are going to be meeting at 10 p.m. Okay. All right. Let's just quickly, yeah, that is also one of the reasons why it was a drop question. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely true. Just make sure कीजिएगा कि आप properly ये सारे concepts को revise कर रहे हैं जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं, अच्छी तरीके से running notes बना रहे हैं. And if there are any other doubts that you're having, please feel free to let us know about those. Okay. Thank you so much everyone for joining. I'll catch up with all of you soon. Thank you. Bye.